Hello, everybody, miscellaneous people that are watching this, whether it be live or whether it be in the replay. Thank you very much. If you don't know, my name is Pete. This is my channel, The Ponderings of Pete. And as you can probably tell, I was at Dragonsteel this last weekend. Was it really like over a week ago now? It was. Wow. Time flies when your life is crazy. So, a little bit of what's going to happen tonight. I'm just going to talk about Dragonsteel for the next half hour to an hour. Rough time it. I'm just going to talk about my trip, which wasn't just Dragonsteel. I did like a trip to Dragonsteel, and then I also had a brother in the area that I hung out with. So I'm going to talk about our kind of like hiking stuff and all that other stuff as well. And then I should have some friends coming on that were also at Dragonsteel coming on soon, sometime within that a half hour to an hour. And if I need more time, I can always talk about Wind of Truth because I have finished it. Wind of Truth I finished Wednesday. Yeah, it's been like it's been a few days, and I've had some time to sit in it. I've had some time to think about stuff and things, and hear some other opinions about it. And we'll get to that. So Dragonsteel. I've been playing this for over a year. I think probably when the last Dragonsteel happened, I turned to a friend of mine who I had recently converted to Sanderson. To a certain, I don't know when he started reading. It's probably been like 2 years since he actually got into like Mistborn and stuff. And I was like, "Hey, Dylan, you want to go to Dragonsteel for the Stormlight year?" And he was like, "Heck yeah!" So thus began the comedy of technology that was some of getting up set up. Specifically, getting the tickets together was kind of crazy. I'm sure you guys have heard the stories about how the site was just a nightmare. We waited for almost 30 minutes to actually like be able to get into the site after the time they said. It was a just time of constant refreshing, and somehow I was able to get Dylan and I VIP tickets, which was very useful. Just super, super useful for the con for a lot of different reasons that you'll hear about. So we got those tickets, got hotels, all that jazz. And I actually started messaging a bunch of people that I knew that were going. So there was Bookborn, there was Read by Kyle, Jake, John from Talkie Story, Bangis, and then there was a few others that didn't manage to make the convention, but were initially in the group. So messaging just a bunch of people about like, hey, hello, let's meet up at the convention. And I think that was probably the most exciting thing for me was actually like meeting a lot of people that I'd only seen on a screen before. That was really good, and that was just so fun. Hello, Alethea. Good to see you. How's it going? But yeah, Dragonsteel. It was so great. We came in on Wednesday. So this was me and my friend Dylan, and you'll see some pictures. He'll pop into some pictures. And hello, Kate. It's been a while, but Kate's in the middle of Wind and Truth, and yeah, it's great. So where do I want to start? So we came in Wednesday, and a bunch of us kind of trickled in. I don't think I have any pictures of the rare bookshop, but we kind of came in fits and spurts and met people on the night of, got the badges and everything, and it was a lot of fun. Just seeing people for the first time. It was like, oh my gosh, everybody actually exists. And Jake has no legs, which is confirmed. He has no legs. And yeah, we went to this rare bookshop that everybody like bounced in one at a time. We were all like, "Hey, everybody, want to go to this random bookshop?" And then like ended up being like one of us going in at a like we all missed each other. It was hilarious. There was like it was 3 stories. Like it was the it had 2 basements basically, which was wild. Actually found I don't think I have the copy of the proof house that or the belly of the bow that I found there, but I found some KJ Parker books there, which was great. Really fun. And yeah, just finding bookstores in randomly in Salt Lake City was great. And then a bunch of us went to the Cheesecake Factory that night, which, you know, it was great. Just hanging out with everybody and talking with everybody. It's one thing to be able to like talk to one or two people about book stuff like I do with Dylan sometimes here in real life. But it's also like also when an entire group of us are all talking about the same books and we're all just in the middle of a restaurant talking about it. It's just another experience that is just so enjoyable to have. Um, and I think hanging out with everybody is really like the biggest thing that I took away from this. Like, yes, it was great to meet a bunch of authors, very specific authors, but I think that like the best experience for me really was just hanging out with people that I knew from online and like they're real and I'm real and uh we've met in life. Yeah. So that was just fun because I'm just a people person. So excuse me, I should have taken like a Mucinex or something. Hello, K Fox. I think I popped your message. I didn't really like say anything about it, but so a lot of fun things. Dragonsteel. Do I have a? I should have. I really should have this schedule up so I can talk about what I went to. Sorry. Um, tabletop. Convention map. Exhibitor hall map. I don't think I'll need the exhibitor hall map, but so stuff. Not now. We'll come back to this. Sorry. I should have had this up beforehand, but it was only recently that I was like, Boom. Okay. Bada, 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 bada. Present. Share screen. Nice. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see if I actually can like scroll through this with you guys. So let's talk about what I did Thursday. This isn't like everything, but this is like the main stuff, like in Roshar, and so these are the different rooms and stuff like that. I probably should show you. Do I have the passport? They give us this really cool. Where is it? Passport. Yeah, and I have stickers on mine that from random stuff. But that passport basically was part of like the game, which was really cool. Which basically you got stamps, and those stamps enabled you to get more cards, right? So this was a yeah, those were basically Hoyd was here stickers. I did get a cool badge and everything, Kate, and it's like inside of a notebook right now, which I will show you in a minute. So let's talk about the game for the convention, which was really fun. So they had a card collecting game. So on the back of each card, there's like a bunch of art. On each card, it's really hard because of the lighting, and I'm sorry, but there's a bunch of words there. So there are 3 stories that you could collect. One of them is a Yasna story, which happens during Words of Radiance at a very specific, yeah, at the time that you think. The other is the King Lopin story, which Sanderson has been talking about wanting to write for a while. It also happens during Words of Radiance when Elokar and Lopin are interacting, we'll say. And the last one is a Chasm Friends story. I managed somehow to get yes, absolutely, exactly during that time period, Kate. I managed to get all of them. So there was like different tiers that you could collect essentially. So there was the regular stuff, and then some of the cards were stamped with nonsense. whether it was Hoyd nonsense or Lopin nonsense or whatever, but they were just marked nonsense where the story was slightly different on those cards, right? For example, in one of the ones that I initially got, Yasna was like she had to get a new dress because hers was ruined, and in the regular version of the story, it's like, oh yeah, Yasna went and she grabbed this dress and she didn't want to interact with the merchant again because she got it in less than legal means. The nonsense version of that story was just one line changed that was, yeah, and so Yasna managed to impress the merchant so much with a song and dance that she was able to get the thing. She was able to get her dress. So like that's the difference between that. And then there were also holo foil versions of the cards, and there were also herald cards. So there were 9 herald cards that were the rarest of the rare, as well as holo herald cards. And so when I say I got them all, I did not mean I get all of them, all of them. I actually didn't really start collecting until the last day, of which I was just like, I should probably turn in these some of the stamps that I have so I can get more cards, and then I should start trading with people, right? And it was such a fun experience. It was basically I got a few extra packs from the stamps, and then I just sat around and went up to people and talked to them and be like, "Hey, what what people what cards you need?" And yes, there were 9 Herald cards. So the 10th Herald was actually on the back of all the 9 Heralds. So let me actually show you. So first off, no, so it's actually Batar that didn't have have a Herald card, and I'll show you why. Batar was all of the Herald cards. So here's like this. Here's the where I taped the badge. That's like the back of the badge, and I got stickers from Talking Story and Bookborn. What's up, Andrew? We're talking Dragonsteel for a little bit. Yes, absolutely. I loved this aspect of the convention. And then we have, so this is, yes, exactly. So it's actually that exact art, Kate. It's that art. This I had to buy, but it was well worth it to get all of the cards in here. So yeah, so on the back of the cards, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there's art on the back of each set of 9, which is really cool. I think this is one of my favorites. It's a picture of the Everstorm, and it's all red and lightning and so cool. What else do we have? Ba-da-ba-da-ba. We have a wholesome picture of the Lopin and his family, or some of it at least. Yeah, it's so cool. We have a picture of Elokar, and I want to point out, I don't know if you can see it. I want to see if I can get you guys to see it. There are cryptics on that, like, just random pan that they have chilling right up there. I was like, oh, that's such an interesting detail that I love. Just like, just a nice, like, I think they're embroidered on, I don't know if they're on the pan, which is really cool. Of just like, did they carve that or whatever? I don't know what the implications are. I haven't really thought about it. But and then last ones are the Chasm Friends. All this cute art from from them. And then wrong direction. But as you can see, there's some really nice art. Let's see if I can see the one with so they have like chibi. I don't know if you can see the chibi man. This is a holofoil one. Yeah, but like the skeleton and everything and all that cartoony style. Oh, it's so fun. Yes, Chasm Friends are. I haven't read this story yet. I've only read the Yasna one, but it's super cool, super interesting. But that's that. It was so much fun to just collect these. And then I think I only ended up with 1 Herald. So when I say I got all of them, I got a complete story. I didn't get all of the regular, all of the nonsense, all of the Heralds, because that was just a time and a half. And when Bookboard comes on, I'll talk to her about that. Because she had her own journey. but I managed the last herald I kept basically because I was using the heralds to like trade with people. Was Palia? I don't know. This is the Truth Watcher Herald. This is not going to focus, but that's the only one I kept out of all of them. I originally had like 3 nails, and ended up only with 1 herald left because I traded away for all the things, and it worked out great though. I'm glad this is the one I ended up with. So at the very end, it was super funny. So the rumor was that there was actually a lost shipment of some of these cards, and that some of the high, so they come in sets of 54. So the 49 to 54, and then all of the heralds. There were shipments that contained packs with a bunch of those in there. Those were lost, and therefore those high numbers and the heralds were all lower than they should have been. Lower in terms of like numbers and rarity. So Ben. Yeah, Ben managed to get all of them except Open 49, and I wish I had an extra 49. I managed to like eke it out to the very last, where I it clo- the li- it, the Silverlight Mercantile, which is the part that was like where you go in to trade your cards, was open till 7 the very final night, and there was the Hob Spotlight, which we'll get to, um, on Sunday. Yeah, so the Hob Spotlight was at 6:30, I believe, and then I was in line at like 5, right? So I sat in that line. When I got into that line, I had 11 cards that I needed, and I sat in that line till probably 6:15. No, I was in that line close to the time the Hob Spotlight. So I was in that line a good hour and a half. By the time I got to that front of that line, I only needed 2 cards. So I was just wheeling and dealing, talking to people what they needed, and seeing what I could deal with them, and got down to two cards by the end of the line. And they luckily the Silverlight Mercantile had the cards that I needed, which was like 2 high cards, which was just a blessing. It was a lot of fun just collecting this, and I really hope they do something like this again. Just because I feel like what Kate said, like it was a really great way to get people interacting with each other, and so I thought that was just genius. Hey Samwise, see you on the replay. Yeah, I love the Elokar art as well. Like he looks so sad and everything like that. Nice, Andrew. I don't know. Wild. That's actually wild. I didn't find any afterwards. Yeah, I kind of wish I had actually like gotten started earlier with the card trading because I could have gotten like the nonsense ones, which would have been like really really fun. Oh yeah, it was Kim. I'm so sorry, Kim. Um, yeah. It was Kim. There it is. But yeah, that was just a big part of interacting with strangers, which yeah, and like to that end, um, I think everybody at the con was super super nice and kind, and like there weren't any douchebags. It was great, or that I interacted with. Um, like it was everybody was super nice, and this isn't just like the people that I came to see, but like everybody that I talked to that was random, just chilling out, whether it was the exhibitors, whether it was other con goers, we all were there with in singular purpose. I don't know. We just everybody was there for Brandon, for Sanderson, for the con to see people and to hang out. It was great. Um, yeah, that's really cool. The Hoyt Museum is something that I missed. I don't know how. I just never got in line for it. Um, but that's awesome that they had all the Herald cards. That was super rare. In the final hours, it was really funny because there were people just going around looking for Herald 7, 8, and 9, which I don't remember which ones those were, but everybody was just looking for them, and it was really funny. So that was the Stormlight thing. Cosplays were great. There were a lot of really, really cool cosplays, Kate. Just like I didn't get very many pictures of other people's cosplays. I can actually show you the stuff that we did for the ball. And we'll get to the ball at some point. But let's do that. So there was one guy who had a full set of Stormlight arc. He was Kaladin in his plate, in his shard plate, and there was like smoke and everything, and it was all lit up, and it was super cool. I actually went to like a cosplay, like I had a cosplay panel that was super fun. That they were talking about like doing all that fancy stuff, like lights and all that other jazz. So let is present. Okay, don't do this with your left hand. That's bad. Hike ball group. There we go. So here we go. So yeah, that was right before the ball. So we have Bookborn and Zach as Painter and Yumi from Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which was super cool. I had a little bit of a cosplay. You'll see like the bracers. So I made zinc bracers, just to be some random Verucamist. So that was fun. And then my friend, this is Dylan. He was another Mistborn cosplayer, kind of, because I don't remember if he cut the coat or not, but he was kind of like era 2. I don't think I did because I went immediately to go out hiking in the mountains. I was fine. I think like when I got home, I started like sniffling or whatever, but I don't think it's con crud. I think it's just normal seasonal crap, more than anything. I don't know. But that's one thing that I did was like the day we got there, me and Dylan went to the store and we got like bread and orange juice and some other snacks. That was great. Hey, how's it going, Ben? And then we looked. It was the whatchamadoodle. The ball was super fun. So where were we? We did the game. Talked about day one. So day one, the other thing we did, we started, was assembling the signatures. So the cool thing that Grimoire did was they had this. They had this anthology, which in this anthology we have Kat Ogden, who's Robin Hobb's daughter, Michael J. Sullivan, Zach Argyle, Eldon Thompson, Fonda Lee, Peter O'Rulian, who I think was the only author that wasn't there, J.A. Andrews, Jason Denzel, Robin Hobb, and Sean Speakman, who is also the editor. I managed to get all of those signatures, except for Peter O'Rulian, who was not there, sadly. So those of you that I was talking to beforehand will know that I did not get any tickets to the Robin Hobb traditional signings because they were like a total of like 60 tickets and they went like this, and I was half a second too late. However, John from Talking Story did get one of those tickets, which I'm super happy he did because he had a really cool like story about who he needed to get the signatures for. So yeah, I, however, did get to meet Robin Hobb twice. Once was so a little bit before the con, Grimoak Press sent out an email saying that, hey, Robin Hobb is going to be at our booth at this time at like 2 different times throughout the con. And then what they didn't say was she was probably going to be hanging out there for a little bit otherwise. And that information we got from the Argyles, Bookboard and Zach. So one of the things that the VIP pass afforded me was there were about an hour before the exhibition hall opened for everybody, they opened it up just for VIP members. And that was such a good, it was great. Oh, hey, Zach has been named and summoned. Yeah, so what had happened that morning, at least the first morning and then the last morning are the 2 like significant times where that really helped. So the first morning, one of the things I did was like I went around to some of the booths and then I picked up this book and got it signed by Zach, who happened to be hanging around, and then also by Kat and by Robin Hobb, and that was really fun. And unfortunately at that point in time I did not get a picture for her. Yeah. So VIP is super valuable. So getting in that hour before everybody was crucial, especially to like the last day. So the last day, Fonda Lee was the only authors whose signature I did not have. I had met her before at her booth, but I didn't have the grimoire on me when I met her that first morning. So she was at her booth for about an hour, and like an hour, hour and a half that first morning, and all of that hour was during the VIP special what's it called? Special signing. Also, that's super cool. Did you get to like chat them up and then get their, are you gonna have tea at their houses later? Like, are you like best friends with Robin the Queen Hobb now, Zach? Because I would be super jealous if you were, and would also want to get invited to tea during Worldcon, because that would be great. Oh, this is Bookborn on Zach's account now. Same question. Um, That's awesome. Hobb, and I'd love to talk to Kat a little bit more, Kat Ogden. But Hobb, she's just great. The other thing is I had a random encounter with Hobb as well, and Bookborn is really echoing the VIP is super, super worth it, because it is. Where is... Here we go. Let's share this. The other thing that really helped was, getting into the release party early, and getting those seats closer than normal, because the release party was super packed. It was wild how packed it was. Like they didn't have room for all the outsiders and everything like that. Like they managed to get in. Like other random people, like the public, but like not a lot of them. So this is a great story. So I actually had a call with a recruiter for a company because I'm in the middle of applying for a bunch of different jobs, and the VIP lounge was kind of just open for it, and so I was just chilling and getting that call done, and I look across the room and I'm like, wait, is that Robin Hobb? Lo and behold, it was. So as I was finishing up my call, she was getting up to leave. I think she was just doing a random meet and greet or something. I don't know. But I went up to her and was like, hey, can I get a picture? And I managed to get this picture. And I'm super happy now because I got a picture with Robin Hobb. And that's amazing, because Robin Hobb is great. More things about... So more things about Robin Hobb. We're just going to go on Robin Hobb gush right now. She was super nice, and I loved hearing her talk about like I loved hearing Brandon nerd out about Hobb when Brandon was interviewing her during the Rob spotlight, and just talking about some of her older works, some of her Megan Lindholm books, which I really want to. I think there's two Wizard of the Pigeon sounds a lot more interesting to me now, and then Soldier Son I'm probably going to pick up this year as well, and then also the Revelation. This was like crumbs. So when I first talked to Robin Hobb, those of you that don't know, I had some issues with Fool's Fate, the very last book, and I asked her a question about that, and she said, "Oh yeah, so you're gonna get more live ship POVs." And as far as we knew, she was only writing one more book, and this is foreshadowing, by the way, that she was writing one more book. We're like, "Oh, we're gonna get live ship POVs in the next book." So then Kyle from Read by Kyle was also at some point talking to her, and he started asking her questions, and she revealed, oh yeah, there's two more Realm of the Elderling books that she's writing, which is wild. I think John did a short on that afterwards, and talked to Kyle about it. So there were two more. And then along comes the Robin Hobb spotlight. And it's so funny because then she's just like, yeah, so I have about 4 novels on my hard drive that are like 75 to 80%, like a chapter or two away from finishing or something like that. And oh, by the way, I signed a contract for one of these novels 3 days ago. And we're all just like, okay. So one of those novels is a novel about a character named B. One of them is a live ship novel, likely. So there's so many things. Speaking of Kyle, I literally just said your name like 5 seconds ago, and you started saying some things. Hopefully, I am looking forward to trying to get Worldcon this year. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna get to that. Yeah, Kate. That's for real. So Hobb 2025. Guess what? So let's talk about Backpack Bread. So astute viewers might notice, or might have heard what I said. Of two of the things that yeah. So 2025, there likely will be a Hob book. She has like four almost completed novels on her hard drive, and she signed a contract for one of them 3 days before the con, or like right before the con, probably like 2 days before the con, because it was the end of the con, a day or two before the con. So like we're getting more Hob books, we're getting more Realm of the Eldling books. There's going to be at least two. It's wild. It's crazy. Hob is back. It's amazing. Um, Now to the more interesting. Yes, Derry is aware of this. Derry is absolutely aware of this. Um, Back to the more. Yeah, this is not the more interesting thing, but hot backpack bread. Two of the things that Dylan and I got on the first day were we went to the grocery store, we got orange juice, we got snacks, and we got bread, and technically also like cheese and salami as well. Went. Um, so right before the release party, we had been walking all day. I was hungry. Dylan was hungry. They went in to grab the seats. I think it was me, Bookborn, and Zach, and then eventually Kyle. I ran back to the hotel room, grabbed bread, heated it up, as well as grabbing salami and cheese, stuffed it in my backpack, and then came back downstairs. And then went into the release party. And so I was just offering people backpack bread because yeah, because I was there and I was just chilling, eating back bread out of my backpack because I was hungry, because that is what you do. I also had an apple. I don't remember if I ate it during that time, but I just had apples randomly on me because that's just what happens. Yeah, so bread, salami, cheese. Yeah, misrepresenting people is bad. Um, yeah, I had the salami and cheese. The cheese got kind of sketchy near the end, but the salami was fine. I did throw it away after that, after I'd done eating, because like you know you can't just like leave cheese and bread and meat in a backpack for like 3 or 4 hours and it not be just kind of like, do you really want to keep eating this? But the bread was fine. The bread was fine for like another day. Yeah, thank you. I was very concerned about just forgetting to eat. So that is why a grocery store run was necessary. It's you gotta do it. You gotta have your backpack bread. You always gotta have backpack bread. It's just required. But yeah, that was backpack bread. The release party was great. The spoiler Q&A was really fun. Our boy Bengus Khan got to ask a question. I don't remember what his question was now. I hope he remembers if he comes on tonight. And there were some unhinged questions that I'm sure we'll talk about later. That was just a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah. And whenever, like, if you guys are chilling out in the comments and want to come on, like Bookborn, Kyle, and you guys, up to you. Um, oh, I don't even. I'd have to go back and watch the stream to actually remember what his uh answer was. Like everything was a blur. That entire week was like a blur. So Jake gave Ben a question. Oh, oh, um, yeah, cool. Where's my water bottle? Yeah, that's a good answer. Kyle, can you delete that message? That's a. Anyways, Bookborn at this point in time, by the way, had oh wait, I can do this. We're just gonna delete that. Oh wait, we have friends now. We have Bookborn. Hello.
What's up?
How's it going?
I'm just here to remind you, since you didn't remember Ben's question.
Oh yeah. The what POV would change our mind most?
Yeah. Can you imagine how I felt when that question was asked? And then that was the answer?
Yes. I understand how you felt now. Um, and then we have Kyle as well. What's up, Kyle?
Hello.
How's it
I
going?
was watching the stream and I had it on like 2 times the speed to try and catch up to what you were talking about. And I was like, oh, I guess it's like kind of time to join. So
Yeah. How's it going? How are you guys recovering from the con? First of all,
I'm actually extremely tired for maybe the rest of my life. I don't know. I don't know why.
I said badly. Actually, I sang bad, but
Yeah, I didn't read any of Wind and Truth at the con, and then afterwards I was like, I gotta read Wind and Truth, and then also like every coworker I've ever had texted me on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, being like, "Do you want my shift? I broke my knee," or something like that, and I had to think of reasons why I had to say no. That was not, I'm reading a 1,400-page book,
and I can't do
it. So I would just be like, I'm sorry, I made plans. And I did make plans. My plans were to not work so I could finish that book. But then after I finished it, I had spent too much time reading it, so I was very tired. So I'm recovering from reading the book, less so Dragonsteel.
I was gonna say, I made fun of your hot backpack bread a lot, Pete, but you did also give me sketchy backpack Tylenol, which was vital for me to recover from the world.
I don't think that's sketchy. Because that comes in a container. Like the hot bread is sketchy.
It wasn't sketchy at all. It was life-saving.
I have to tell the hot bread story because we went to the release party, and at the end Brandon does his like talk and his reading.
Kyle cheated. We saved Kyle a seat.
I wasn't gonna out you guys. Yeah, okay. So they saved me seats because they're wonderful people. And so I hadn't eaten because like my wife and I we had left before the release party to go look at Christmas lights because she wanted to go look at Christmas lights. So then we spent the time most people would have eaten food looking at Christmas lights. And then I came back and then I, was at the release party, and then everybody started leaving when he did his like little talk or his reading from the Moment Zero. And I was like, okay, if everybody else is leaving, I'm going to go get food because I don't care about this. And then I was like, I turned to Pete and I was like, Pete, I'm leaving. I'm super hungry. And Pete he leans over to me very seriously. He's like, do you want some hot backpack bread? And I was like, Pete, I am super fine, but thank you so much. And I should have took it because I went out into the convention and all the food was closed. And then I went into the hotel and the restaurant was closed. And then I was like, I'm gonna die. Like, this is gonna be the end of my life. I should have eaten that hot backpack bread. So beggars can't be choosers.
You always got.
You know what? He offered it for me too because I was also starving. We didn't eat either, but I don't remember why.
Did you have you had to like go do your panel thing? You just pieced out in the middle of the spoiler Q&A. You were sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, I gotta go, and then you just ran off. And I was like, okay,
why did
see you
I have
later.
to go though? There was no reason I had to go because my panels weren't until Saturday.
No, but you had to talk to your panel about what you were doing.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was really important. So yeah, we didn't eat, and then we were starving, but we went to the bar after.
Hey Ben,
which saved us. Hi Ben.
Hello.
How's it going, Ben?
Good.
But I want to say that he also offered me hot backpack bread, which was very kind of him. I also declined, but it was very kind.
I think it was more how you offered it than the fact that you offered it. You leaned over, want some hot backpack bread? I'm like, absolutely not. In fact, I don't even want to be your friend anymore.
I had to lean into it. I knew it was sketchy, so I had to lean into it. All right.
This reunion is feeling
popular now.
This reunion is feeling very cozy because I miss the convention so much. Like being back in real life, it is not as good as being at the convention.
That is very true.
Actual convention, please.
I
have a question for all of you. What did all of you people tell the people in your life where you were? Like, do they all know the ins and outs of what Dragonsteel was? Because all my coworkers asked me a lot of questions. I had to show them Mistborn Santa photos after. But then, like, explaining what a Mistborn Santa was to them was very hard. And I was like, look, I don't even know what it is. It's just, it's Mistborn Santa. It is what it is.
Holding a shard blade, which really bothered me. Why wasn't it Stormlight Santa? But it's fine.
But he had a mist cloak on.
That's true.
Right there. Okay, so I can actually show
Guys, I'm going to get that photo printed. I just want to let everyone know I love that photo so much. I'm getting it printed, and I think
they were better than we could have ever expected. House. Yeah, okay. They were great.
It like fills me with joy every time I look at it.
So this is
not that one. That one's great.
Get to it. But like that's just
this one's regular. Yeah, this one's normal.
Yeah.
Regular.
That's not the one I'm printing.
Are you printing the one of me getting stabbed?
Yes, because it's so funny.
It is. Everybody's face in that one is great. Not that one, but that one's also good. But there's one more.
Yeah, there's one more, and that's the thing I like about it. Everyone looks good. Like it's a photo where everyone looks good.
There's Jake. I'm just
Jake's framing wasn't as good because like Pete's out of the frame and so is Jake.
Okay, it's this one. So in particular, I love Zach and Dylan's faces in this picture. And then I love how Ben is like kind of excited. He's like, Kyle's gonna die finally.
It's amazing. Everybody delivered.
Yeah, it was. This is such an experience.
We do have to tell.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we have to tell the story of how this happened and how I was right, and you should all listen to me.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I was about to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Can I go on the site though and read what it said? Because I'd like, in my defense, to read what the statement said on the website.
I don't think it matters. I think it's just, some people are intuitive and they understand things, and some people just don't understand things.
But I also donated a lot to things, and they rip you off when it's for a donation.
That's true. So
that's so cynical.
You were this was for charity.
I donate a ton to charities. I'm just saying you donate a lot more.
I cannot believe the virtue signaling that just happened here.
That wasn't virtue signaling. I'm saying I don't dislike charities. I'm saying I donate to charities, and you always pay more if you're donating to a charity. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Of course.
So I suggested that we do this Mistborn Santa thing, and it was like you had to book slots, and it was $10, and we were all talking about it, and then people were like, "Oh, I think you have to buy tickets per person," and I was like, "I think you just have to buy a ticket per slot. Like I think if we were getting one picture, it would just be $10."
By the way.
And then so I lost because people think I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a common phenomenon, but whatever. And then we all bought tickets. So we bought 10 tickets, and we got there, and they were like, "Oh, you only needed one. You can just take as many pictures as you want." Yeah. So we had a lot of fun with it. But I'm really glad that happened because then we raised money for charity, and we got these really awesome pictures.
Okay, I found it. Okay, they changed it. Oh my gosh, because the lady told me, she was like, "Oh, we need to change it. A lot of people have been making that mistake." They changed it. I'm 100% positive it didn't say that.
All jokes aside, I believe you that they changed it, but it is funny.
Because now it says, it's so clear now. It says one ticket is required per photo op with no limits for group size.
We would have not mixed that up. Yeah.
Okay, so we weren't the only one who made this mistake.
No, probably not. But hey, they raised more money, right?
Man, Kyle, I'm so jealous you took off work to read the book. I have been.
I didn't. I just didn't want. I didn't want to work extra.
Okay.
Like I worked Monday and Wednesday during the day, but I wanted to not work during the evening as well. Dude, I can't believe you're here instead of reading the book. That's actually like very flattering that you spend this time with us. I didn't even talk to my wife once I hit like day 8. I was like, you just gotta.
No,
she was asleep when I hit day 8. I'm just kidding.
We're mid Sanderland. We're mid contest of champions right now.
Wait, what page are you on, Ben? Did I miss it?
He's on day 10.
You're on day 10? Why are you here?
Why are you here? Ben is in the middle of the end, like literally the end.
Ben can't deal with the lack of immersion, so he has to, make sure he's fully immersed.
No, I have been basically fully immersed since like the start of day 5 or so. So it's been great. It's been
nice.
There's so much. Just like I think I was at like the start of day 8, the last night that I took it over, and it was like this was like Wednesday. This was Tuesday night, probably around 11 when I started reading, and I just read for the next 3 hours and got the rest of it done. It was so great.
I stayed up till 5:30 in the morning 2 nights in a row. Well, I guess 4:30 the first night. But...
Oh man, I'm gonna have to delay it too. I gotta run soon because I gotta go home. I'm at my dad's house taking care of his dogs for a little bit, but I gotta run back because I'm doing a Lord of Emperors live chat with Nico and Zamar at 7:30. So my finishing of the book is gonna be delayed by a couple hours more.
Nice.
Talking about Lord of Emperors is excusable. That's a good reason.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. She routinely wakes up to messages about Fencer and Parker books, and she gets, and then I have to draw her pictures about how it works. Yeah, no, watching Ben's messages. So Ben the Overlord, he literally the day after I was just going through it, he had nothing else to do. So because of his knee, and I think he got through it in 24 hours. Like I was at the.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah. You will get there, Emily. It's great. I'm glad that you have time that like the pre-order. I mean, it's Barnes & Noble. So Barnes & Noble is kind of wonky about it.
I would actually be so angry if my pre-order got lost in the mail.
Oh yeah, especially for
you
that.
deserve compensation.
It's great. So what was your guys' favorite part about the convention?
I've been talking a lot. Somebody else talk.
All of it. I mean, the wedding ball was really a special
I like the
event.
ball a lot. I also really like the dancing.
I loved both. I loved seeing the actors playing the characters. Like, that actually made me truly emotional. Seeing Sando talk about the birth of the characters, like also got me emotional.
That was nice. He had a really good speech.
Yeah, and then to follow that up with actual just like having fun dancing with you all, like that's probably the memory that I am like is currently like the strongest that I'm currently taking with me away from the con. So that was a special evening. I'm so glad they did that event.
Yeah, it was weird because like, we're all like floating heads. And then at one point we were all like just in a circle, like, just rocking out to Blink-182 or whatever. I'm like, these people are real people. Like they have legs, except Jake, who does not have legs and wasn't there. Jake wasn't there because he doesn't have legs. What's up?
I will say like I bought those World Hopper tickets because like obviously we were gonna buy them, but I was like, this is so expensive. There's no way this is gonna be that fun. And then it was so fun. Like I had zero regrets. I was like, this was money well spent at this con.
Yeah, I was a curmudgeon. If it wasn't for Jess wanting to go, I would have not bought tickets. And I would have been missing out.
Thank God.
Yeah, they put that money back into it. Like you could tell that they put every dollar they could into it. And then you got these like really nice commemorative goblets that are probably like worth $30.
Should I go get mine? Oh no, Pete has his. They're huge.
I was gonna come in drinking out of mine, but Jess put hers back.
You have your story cards in them. I love that.
No, I have some of them. I have this is like my extra story cards.
Oh. My story cards are in my Doomslug lunchbox with my reality tokens from last year's con.
My story cards are just sitting somewhere.
And I have the box next to me because this is
a good box.
This is the box that like they gave it to us in.
We had to leave. We had to abandon the boxes in the hotel room. We wrapped them in sweatshirts to get them home.
Why? That's such a better way of transporting it.
Well,
the box.
Yeah, like it's not going to break. I guess if you put it in your carry-on.
Kyle. Where were 2 of those boxes going? Where? We did not check baggage.
I do think we
bought like 10 books and all the where? Like you're acting like I wanted to take these fragile glass things out of their beautiful
I actually
boxes.
In the feedback for Dragonsteel, I had quite a lot of feedback. And I said like, the ball was good, but I was like some things could be fixed. But one of the things is like if you're going to have people like mandatorily buy this thing, they should be able to opt into it for like a different price point or something, or like at least let people be aware, because like getting it home is a struggle, and like some people are going together, so then they have 2 instead of like just they could only have 1. Hey John, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Good to see you again.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
It has been
almost a week now.
Yeah,
I think actually it's true though. Like I actually got really sad after con because I'm like, these are my friends and my friends aren't near me. And it was so fun having my friends near me.
Yeah, it was great.
Fun to be like, real people. Oh my gosh, it's great. And then having like those just the late night conversation at the bar and stuff like that.
And none of you were weird in person, which is really great because I can say that now, but I was like a little nervous. You never really know how people are going to be in person, and I
did my best.
John was just holding it all together. Don't be weird. Don't be weird.
I had Jacob to watch me. Every time we enter a room with people, I was like, "Okay, you're my backup. Don't let me be weird."
I mean, and maybe you guys all think I'm the weird one, but like from my perspective, you guys were pretty normal. It was nice.
Well, I'm glad that you think that.
Normal, like we're all nerds. I get that. But I mean normal and like no one was giving weird vibes.
No, I know what you mean. John, those like 2 shorts that you posted, the comedic timing in them, I know it was Jacob, but they're so funny. Like when I was like, Jake doesn't have legs, and then zooms in on the legs. He has legs. And then with Bookworms where it was like, you're hard to find. You're hard to find too, John. And you're like, I took a nap.
Hey, that was just the God's honest truth. That first night, I overdid it. Like that first night when I was in line waiting for my book, and I realized I'm gonna have to lay on the floor. Like this is happening. I'm like, I am that kid in a Disney line for my favorite ride, but it's too long. I'm that kid in a bank line with my mom. I'm smooth out. I'm lying smooth out on the floor. That's gonna be me. That realization hit me at the end of that first day.
Yeah, I think the one thing I took away from this con is like it's okay to wait and not be in the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we lucked out.
Yeah,
we lucked out. We like talked in the bar for a while, and then we just went in, and there was literally nobody. And then it was funny. They were all like calling us over, like they were like barkers at a carnival. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was a child again. It's all these people would be like, "Hey, line 4 sucks. Come to me." And I'm like, "All right, I agree with you. Line 4 does suck."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So the ball, what was your guys' favorite part? Oh, we talked a little bit about the ball. John, did you get to go to the ball at all?
I did not go to the ball. I missed the ball.
I'm so sorry for you.
I saw pictures. It's all good.
Yeah,
I had fun.
You might have seen more than me at some points because like I don't think I got any of the performances.
Yeah, the performances they needed like a.
That was my number one recommendation. I was like, I paid a lot and it seemed amazing, but I could not see 70% of the performances. Like the wedding was fine because it was on the stage.
Yeah.
But I was like, you need to. I know people are in ball gowns, but you need to ask people to be prepared to kneel in the front. Or have some sort of way because like it was a bummer. It was a bummer that none of us basically got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, even if they just had like screens on the side that could like broadcast or something, like that would have been fine.
I feel like that would have been an easy thing to do.
When like Kaladin and
somebody's phone. Like someone was filming it, and so I watched through somebody's phone, one of them.
When Kaladin and Adolin were like fighting and like dancing and whatever, I just like saw that on Instagram like 4 days later, and I turned to Jess and I was like, "Oh, this is what you missed. Like, you didn't see any of this." Like, we're doing this now.
Painter's brush for the guitar.
Listen, the music spoke through me. Okay, like I felt it, and it's what happened. You know.
These are some of the best photos I've ever taken in my life. I nailed the timing.
You need this like to get painted and everything. What's up, Zach?
Hey Zach, how's it going?
I heard Kyle talking about his legendary moment, and so
exactly.
Oh man,
well,
that's
I couldn't have done it without the airbrush. So it was a 2-team. It was a 2-person
accomplishment.
Yeah,
it was legendary.
Yeah, it actually felt like a real wedding, is what Zach and I talked about after. We were like, there was a wedding portion, and then there was toast, and then you had a dance party, and there was like drinks and food. Like it felt like a real wedding.
I also liked how it started with like Hoyd and the other actors in the middle because everybody that coaxed everybody onto the dance floor, and then people just stayed.
Yeah. And Hoyd, Jackson Dickard as Hoyd was amazing.
Incredible.
I literally emailed him and said, you carried that entire thing. And I really meant it because like he took everything together.
Yeah.
You talked about Adolin already?
Oh, none of us really liked Adolin, but the actor. But
hey, we're slandering people.
Poor
Well, no, he was a weaker portion of the thing.
He
But I
looked
guess
like a Disney prince. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't feel right.
what I was gonna say is only because this is also kind of, I guess, mean, I wasn't expecting a lot from the actors, and so I was shocked at how good so many of them were.
A lot of them felt
really
very
good.
true. Yeah.
So I think it was only by contrast. Like he wasn't bad, but it was like, wow, Dalinar really felt like Dalinar, and Shallan really felt like Shallan, and Jackson Dickard as Wit was like really incredible. So
I got in a picture with that.
I don't know. That doesn't look like Dalinar to me.
That's not how he looked in.
There's better pictures. There's
better pictures. Like
Dalinar is Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
That's canonically what Sanderson says that he imagines Dalinar would be like if he was cast today.
Look, Wit was so perfect. Like Wit felt like Wit. Yasna felt like Yasna. Like man,
that's true.
Even Kaladin, even short Kaladin felt like that was a good.
He was
Kaladin.
Super athletic.
Yeah.
So he really sold the part. He was like
that guy's like the CEO of Speechify, which I think is cool.
What, the guy that played Kaladin?
Yeah. When they started posting everybody on Instagram, I just like looked at who everybody was, and he's the CEO of Speechify.
Yes, Dave
they should do it. They have a pretty obvious next ball theme, which is Mistborn. Like, because Mistborn had balls, so they should totally do a Mistborn ball.
The next year's like non-Cosmere. Is the next one going to be like, yo, Earth?
But they should still do a ball anyways. I think
they will. Yeah,
you just do a Mistborn ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope they do more sessions of it next year and less people. Like that was my biggest like recommendation that I put like in all caps. I think. Just like, guys, please, less people.
I think a lot of people, because I even was like wandering around, like hearing people talk about how there's too many people at the ball. So
yeah, we spent like most of that time in between the performances in line for drinks.
Well, that was my recommendation, which was frustrating because we all wanted non-alcoholic drinks, and I think that line was empty the whole time. So we like spent all this time in this line, and then also we got a cut to the front when it was like, "Oh, are you looking for non-alcoholic?" And it was like, "Yes, all of us."
I put in my feedback. They should have people with trays for the non-alcoholic drinks. There's no reason why they wouldn't.
Oh,
that's a better idea.
Yeah, that's
a
smart.
great idea. And I think I think we were lucky we went to the third session because I think it was already vastly better. Because I heard the first night people didn't get into like an hour and a half in because they were checking IDs at the door. Versus when we were there, they went through the whole line and checked IDs before we even entered. So I think we're lucky.
John, I got a really good picture of you. I didn't tell you because we never had time. So I was wandering by. I don't know if I'll be able to show it very well on this, but I think it's funny. But I was wandering around by myself for a minute, and I looked over, and it was when all of you guys were doing your like shard blading stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't see Jacob, so I was like, oh, well, somebody should take a video of this and I can send it to John and then, like he'll have it. And I took a picture and you looked right at me and I just want to see if this will focus. And you just gave me this funny, you were just like you were just preparing for the fight of your life.
I'm going deep into character right there.
For sure. And then I saw Jacob and I was like, oh, you have all this. So then I didn't take a video, but thought that picture was funny.
I was getting prepared. So at the ball was Brandon Sanderson at every ball? Like he was
only at 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was at the Thursday night one, and then he was at the Friday night one with all of his family.
Okay.
So going back to the weird questions one, there was that one lady in one of the Q&As that got up and literally asked Brandon Sanderson for a dance. She was like, she got selected for the Q&A. She got up and she was like, I have a serious question and another question. And she's like, can I get a dance at the ball? And Sanderson was like, wait, I'm dancing at this thing?
He didn't
I didn't see him dancing.
No, he didn't end up dancing. And I gotta run because I gotta run home for my other book chat. But it was so great seeing you all.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you, Ben.
Thanks for coming.
Ben is Batman. He disappears at the. This is him in character right now. He just disappears. Yeah. This time he actually told us.
He's actually a book ninja. Like you'll turn. I had a complete conversation with him. Turned around, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was Commissioner Gordon. I was straight up Commissioner Gordon.
We literally all sat on a bench, and then we all were like talking, and then I look, and Ben is there, and then I look back like 5 seconds later, and there's not even a speck of he's just disappeared into thin air. And I'm like, how did this man leave us like this?
It was so funny. Addressing this for 5 seconds. There are no deets because it was a lot of dudes. So nothing at all.
Pete, did Bookborn tell you about when she was on a panel and what I told her afterwards?
What? Which panel? I don't think so.
So she was on the panel with the Cosmere memes or Stormlight memes person.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a woman, and she was talking, and she was very funny, and I was like, I don't see a ring on that finger. She's cute and funny. And then like immediately after I thought that, she like mentioned her husband, and I was like, dang it, Pete.
Are we talking
It's so
about
close.
how we're desperately trying to get Pete a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Did you talk about Cosmere speed dating?
Yes, I
He
mentioned
said
it
there was nothing to tell.
dudes.
Oh yeah.
That's really what it was. Oh, evidently Anitha didn't realize you were not bookborn, Zach.
John, what is some of your favorite stuff about the convention? I feel like we saw you that breakfast, and then we
Yeah.
saw you when we took videos, and other than that, I didn't really see you.
God,
I
man,
never
there
saw
were
you,
so
John.
many. I spent the entire convention looking for Bookborn.
I was right there the whole time. I never even
It was
napped.
honestly kind of comical because I would be with Bookboard and Zach, and then
Yeah.
leave them and wander into John and Jacob, and then they were like, "I'm looking for Bookboard." I'm like, "Got it," and then I would leave them, and I would find you guys again. I'm like, "How is this happening?"
Yeah. I had a great time. I mean, meeting Robin Hobb was huge for me because I mean, I just finished Farseer before I went, and I loved it so much. I just truly love that trilogy. I'm sure I'm going to love the rest of it. So meeting her was huge. Getting in the Lightning signing with Brandon Sanderson was a lot. Like I didn't think it would affect me like it did, but I just think because of the time and space, like when that guy is like right here and it's like, oh damn, we're all here for you. Like this is beyond your moment. Like this is, and it was a little bit. That was like, I would say that was my starstruck moment for the con. Like that moment right there when he was just signing my book. And I mean, luckily I had kind of gone over what few words in those 5 to 10 seconds I thought I could get away with saying to him.
Yeah.
So I wasn't completely like a, God, what, honestly, the people were amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, like I was saying that night, at the end of that first day when I actually laid down, there was a lovely 8.5-month pregnant lady there that was lying with me and while we waited for our book. Lines were not a problem because everyone you met was just such a lovely person.
Everyone's so willing to talk to you at any moment.
Yeah,
Like,
no matter
where
where you are.
What do you like? Like, who are you? Just
Yeah.
all the time.
Just completely genuine and lovely. And I just thought the entire community just really showed out what I just think we've taken so many journeys, so many heroes' journeys and put on those boots and gone on those quests that we just try and emulate it the best we can in life. That's the only thing that makes sense to me because everybody was just, it was truly magic. I never meet that many people in a weekend where it's like all those people were great.
Yeah.
So to me, that was just absolutely stunning.
It was great.
I
Yeah.
agree. Like there was one time we were all like in a bar and we were talking about Dresden, and then like Jake was just like, and then you're gonna get to book 14 and you're gonna hate book 14. And the reason you're gonna hate book 14, you're gonna be like, why are they doing this? And then some woman is just like, she's like, turns around, she's like, are you guys talking about the Dresden Files?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we are. And she's like, I was trying to think about what you guys talk about. And then we just like, talk. But that's like the vibe everywhere. It's like everybody's just willing to jump in and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was telling Zach, like, some of the people we met last year at con, and then we got to greet them this year. And it felt like I was greeting old friends. Like they all would come give me a hug. And it was like, oh, we're just like old buddies. I don't know. It's just good feelings.
Yeah. You guys going next year or you planning on?
We decided at first I was like, no, we shouldn't go again. And then after this year, we're like, yeah, we have to go again.
Yeah.
I actually tried to book our hotel, but you're not allowed to book 52 weeks out.
That's
like,
commitment.
That's like
commitment.
48, like you
Yeah.
got to give them a couple weeks to recover.
It's like, it's just more like we could always cancel
I don't want
it.
to forget.
I just don't want to forget and then have it be sold out.
Next year.
Right. I feel like there'll be a big announcement when the tickets and stuff go on sale.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I bet it doesn't sell out like this year. I mean, this year was
Yeah, I don't
Starlight
think it'll sell it
Five
as
and-
much because he's also going to get a bigger room next year because he wanted the bigger room this year and they wouldn't because of the sales for last year. But this year he'll be like, I sold out in 20 minutes, and they're like, have it all, but then he won't sell out. So
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
yeah.
Well, I also heard that for VIP next year, he's offering free slow dances.
Oh my!
Because he's a hoofer. He's quite the dancer, I hear.
Yeah, so there were some really bad Q&A questions. That's a perfect segue to what Pete wanted to talk about. Oh, did you already do when I was on? Oh, I missed so much.
We mentioned one of them. Yeah. What was
I think
the
we
other
just talked about that one. There was one that was about the video game. I hated the video game question a lot. I really, one was.
Did anybody go to the spoiler Q&A, the Cosmere spoiler Q&A?
Yeah.
We all did.
What? I sat
Buddy
there the whole
guy.
time.
I
sat there the
literally
whole time
messaged
like,
you.
what books are these people? Like, I can't, is this in some language? Do I need a rubric? What happened?
Can I just say, though, in that spoiler Q&A, he dropped so much wind and truth, like humor, like jokes. Like, he was having fun with everybody, and I was sitting there in pain. And in fact, both Zach and Kyle just like, at some point I burst and was like, I'm going to tell you this really small spoiler because I can't keep it in any longer.
So, note to self: next time there's a Cosmere book, don't read it before the con. We'll spoil the Q&A.
Yeah. Exactly.
None of it spoiled for me. I didn't know what anyone was talking about.
I really wish. So my wife, just gets overwhelmed in large amounts of people she doesn't know. And, at that particular time, she just like had enough. So she's like, I'm gonna go back to the room, just like take a nap, go to the gym. I'm like, yeah, of course, And then I was sitting in the spoiler Q&A and I was like, I wish she was here because, man, I would love to have a normal person experience these questions. Like, I just want to know. Like, I want the experience of just being, because like at first I was a little worried she'd be spoiled, but then like 10 minutes in, I was like, there's no way she's understand a damn thing that they're talking about.
You would not understand a thing.
I honestly think that all weekend. Like sometimes I'd be like, Zach, imagine if just like an average Joe was with it during any of this at the World Hopper Ball.
Walked into the physics panel, the Cosmere physics panel.
Cosmere physics panel.
The Cosmere physics panel was insane. Like even I was sitting there and I'm like, I've read all these books. Yeah. I have no idea what they're talking about.
No, or just like even at dinners, I was just like, just a regular person. What do they think?
They had an entire panel talking about that, like living with the Cosmere nerd, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was it was Saturday.
And why were the normies here?
Yeah,
Cosmere nerds. They live with them. They come with
for Jess only. Jess and the other people like Jess.
Yeah, I mean, just give us a little insight. She was like, "It's boring." I don't know what you
We went to the Cheesecake Factory, and it was like me, Jake, Pete, Dylan, and Ben just nerding out about like obscure Mistborn era 2 facts, and Jess was just sitting there, just her soul leaving her body, just eating her food.
Yeah, quizzing Kyle on what different metals do in Mistborn era 2.
Canonically, I do not know what they do.
But you can guess on a multiple choice answer.
Yes.
Roughly 50% of the time ish.
I still say the funnest panel I saw was the one that Bookborn was in control of.
That was a really fun panel. It was.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you say that. Actually, I told Zach this too. I was this is a little sappy. I was very moved that you guys came to all my panels. Everyone did. The whole group came to all my panels, and I felt like some of my panels were boring. So I really appreciated everyone coming to my panels. That was very nice. And yelling for the Dandelion Dynasty was also very funny.
Well, you got to represent where representing.
I have not read that yet.
Oh, you should. Like, dude.
I don't think you were there, John. It was at the
I only made that one panel of yours that I thought was amazing.
The pushing Cosmere physics was like the last one of the cons, so a lot of people couldn't make that one just because it was like.
Yeah, I went to bed. Like I was like, okay, they're talking about how high Kaladin can jump. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah,
you missed my famous moment, Kyle.
Oh, what happened?
I was the last comment of the night on the physics.
He just shouted it out. He didn't go up to the microphone.
Oh,
they were like going
what did you shout out?
And I could tell that like they were ready to be done, and so I just yelled, "Roshar's flat."
I've seen the map.
Panel.
That's great. I wish I saw that.
I've seen the map. We promised Austin and Rich from Two to Ramble would be at there, and several of theirs were at the exact same time as yours of their panels.
Yeah, well, John, you and I went to theirs together, didn't we? The one
We
that
went to
saw.
one together, but they had one that was the very last one of the con as well, like
Oh,
8:30, 9 o'clock the last day too. So
yes, ours was 8:30 till 10.
so that was the exact same time. Yeah.
So late. What was theirs on? What was their late one on?
Oh man, I can't even remember.
They told me, but I forget. I feel bad I didn't get to see any other panels.
It wasn't anywhere near as good as yours. The one that was the reading order. That was the best. That was the best panel I saw.
Also,
kind of you.
Austin and Richard, like I just cold walked up to them. Like I didn't know them. Like I've never commented on any of their videos. I didn't know them, and they were just walking by, and I just walked up fully confident, like, "Hey, we have friends in common." And I just listed like 6 people. I'm like, "I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you." And they're like, "Oh, hey." But then to their credit, every time I saw them afterwards, then they would come over and talk to me. They were like, "Hey, man, how's your?" Like they were very, very friendly guys.
Oh, they're crazy friendly. Very, very friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, they're super, super nice. I ran into them a lot, actually. And
They
they're
were pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I ran into them quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
They were all over.
Yeah.
I actually did talk to them because I was like, the panel we went to, John, what of theirs was a world building panel,
Yeah.
which we both thought was going to be about Cosmere world building, but
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
actually about how you world build for your own books. So the other 3 people on the panel were authors.
Right.
And so after I was like, hey, Austin, Richard, did you feel weird on that panel? And they were like, yes.
Yes, we absolutely did.
I was like, yeah, that's like
That's so
weird.
funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They did that. I thought they had great answers. They did a really good job, but they kept qualifying.
They were needed probably for like to bring the audience into it if you weren't a writer. Like I think they were a needed perspective, but I thought they probably felt weird about it when they were like, yes.
Everybody else builds things and we just read them. Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense that would be like they would have like a booktuber or somebody that consumes with them.
I'll come in.
I'm gonna head out. Both
We
of
only
our
have a
kids
couple
are home,
minutes.
so I'm gonna go.
See you, Zach.
See you later, Zach.
Yeah.
I have a couple more minutes.
Cool. Yeah, I really loved the Cosmere reading order was such a funny panel, honestly.
That was a very fun panel.
Pete
it ended
was
up being really
livid.
fun.
Pete, I've never seen. I didn't know. Pete was buzzing next to me, like just sitting there, just.
This dude was so attached to his experience. All right, and
I agree. I was on your side. You were next level.
I was also on your side. I was giving voice to you, Pete, telepathically.
Yeah,
And you know that I was really worried about that panel, so I'm glad everyone had such a good time because I worked really hard to try to figure out a way to make it fun.
Yeah.
And I think
that like the bridge force salutes and stuff was like good. Like you moderated it really well.
Yeah, it was the most interactive by far. Absolutely. And it's like just the topic was fun, you know. And I agree with you. I don't think there's anyone should jump in wherever they want to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I did talk to all of them. I talked to them all outside the panel. I said, look, if we want this to be fun, we've got to argue. So I said, you need to like take whatever your opinion is and dial it up to 10 and be silly. So like I do always want to tell people that because like, man, they cared so much. I was like, but I told them to do that. And it worked, I think, because it made people mad, which was what I wanted.
Pete, so there was somebody that was like, you can't read The Lost Metal before reading Rhythm of War because it spoils it.
It was.
No, it was Lost Metal because Nerd of the Rings was reading
Rhythm of War.
Rhythm of War, and he didn't know. So it was about that reveal about stuff.
Very specific.
And you were just like this is not. It's one. And so like then they did the thing for questions, and I had what I thought was going to be a really good question, and then I ended up going really last, so I just kind of turned it into a quick statement. But Pete went right before me, and he waited in that whole line for like 15, 20 minutes.
I was the last person
to just be like, yo, do you really think this is a big deal?
You know what's so funny, guys? I have actually extra update on that, which is that Nerd of the Rings actually messaged us after he finished reading. Let's see if I can finish what he said. Basically, he was like, I don't think it matters.
He was like, that was a hill he was going to die on.
Yeah.
It made me like question, like, am I not remembering what happened?
He wasn't sure what it was. So he was like, so was it blank that you were all referencing?
Rhythm of War, right?
Question mark?
Yeah.
He was reading Rhythm of War.
Yeah.
And
so this is
the person was like, yes. And I was like, so you agree that it wasn't a big deal, Nerd of the Rings? And he said, yeah. So canonically, he's on your side, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, no, this one dude, not Nerd of the Rings, this other guy was just super attached to this specific line that is an oblique reference to a character that is a big character. It is a big character reveal, but in my opinion, and voiced by Nerd of the Rings, it's not a big deal if you don't get it. Like, it's one line. There are like 2 other books that actually like directly spoil that or directly reveal that to you in a more impactful way. Like, I've experimented with my friend Dylan, who did not get this reveal, and this is what kind of like changed my opinion on it. Is like, it's one line that unless you're really looking for it, you're not going to get it, and it's just like. The thing that really irritated me was this guy was making a big deal about it.
He's still mad 2 weeks later.
Nerd of the Rings was getting stressed. That like
that's what made me want to say something too.
Yeah. That's what really just frustrated me. It's like, look, this isn't the community that we should be building. That like puts so much weight on this thing.
Well, but it wasn't. That's not just him though. That's like the opinion of so many in the fandom.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Which is why I said like it ends up being gatekeeping, not on purpose, but you end up gatekeeping the experience and telling people, well, you ruined it. You ruined it. But I will say that panel actually convinced me to make a full Cosmere Reading Order video because I only have that short. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I have a short where I pretend that I'm getting abducted because I say there's no reading order. But I don't think it's enough anymore. So I'm gonna do like a full thing where I talk about like, here is my evidence that it does not matter. And so hopefully that will help you too.
So what if you were to do a reading order, where would you start?
It depends on the person.
I just think it depends on the person. Like there's no reading order. Like if I was to talk to some person, I feel like Trust of the Emerald Sea is a great start. And then somebody else I might say, Mistborn. I started with Way of Kings and that was perfect for me, but I wouldn't just blindly be like, start with Way of Kings, like I just think you need more information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you have to do to get them into Sanderson. So that's going to be a different starting spot for everybody. Yeah. Anyway, I've got to go take care of my kids.
Cool.
But I miss you all. And I miss Con. And if you guys talk about story
WorldCon 2025.
Yeah, WorldCon 2024.
I don't know. I hope so.
We actually bought our tickets to that. And I applied to be a panelist, which will definitely get denied. But you never get what you don't ask for.
Why would you get denied?
I don't know. WorldCon seems bigger. But if you guys talk about story cards, you can't mock me too much without
I gave mine to you.
I will.
No, I just said you can't make fun of me too much without me being here.
No.
That's all I said. You can mock me, just not so much.
Of course.
I have to say, okay, before you leave, that video of you running down. I took a video of Bookborn running down the up escalator because as we were going up, she was like just asking people as she walked by, do you have Herald 7? And somebody was like, she's like, I'll trade 2 for 1. And the guy was like, yes. And so she was already at the top and she turned right around and she ran down the escalator and then immediately started trading. And then the guy was also looking for Herald 7. He thought she was saying that if he had 2 other heralds.
I remember these details because that's exactly what it was.
It was so funny. It was one of the best things I've ever witnessed.
Honestly, a super great memory. Pete, you did the cards as well, and
I got
highlight. It was so
I wish
fun.
I did.
It was it was so much fun to do it.
No, I knew right away.
People really came together over it, and one of the things I thought was interesting is like they had so many signs about like trade nicely, trade fairly, like trying to. And I just never ran into anybody who was being annoyed. Like everyone was just so nice about it. Everyone was like really trying to get everyone to succeed. Like you could really
abandon your cards at other tables.
Well, I abandoned my phone. Oh, that's true. I did. I had like my cards at a bunch of tables, and I knew they'd come back to me, and they did. And I did leave my phone for like 45 minutes at a table too, and it was still there, so it was all fine.
Because everybody's so nice.
It was great times. Anyway.
But yeah.
Okay. Bye.
All right. See you later.
Bye, Bookborn.
Yeah. Just that, the story cards in general. I talked about them a little bit earlier in the stream when I was on my own, but like that was definitely like something next year I'm gonna do a lot. If I think I'll probably end up going next year. Well, depends. But I might end up not going to WorldCon because of some conflicts with the wedding, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. Seattle, that's a big trip. I would love to go, but
yeah,
I would love to go.
before Dragonsteel, I was on the fence about going to Worldcon because I was like, my wife will not want to be at this. Like, I feel like that's an even more boring version of the boring
and
shit that we already.
It's so many more people.
Yeah, it's a lot more
people. If your wife
people.
is not great with crowds, that's
and then by the end of it, she was like, "So Worldcon." And I was like, "Oh wow, okay." She's just like, everybody's just so welcoming, and I was like, "Well, Worldcon might be a little bit different, but at least you'll know people." So
Yeah.
But
and there'll be more people that we know there too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It'll be a bigger.
Great. I mean, I'm really tempted just to go for like 2 or 3 days and then like do like a midnight Friday night flight over to Michigan or something.
I think you can do that. Yeah,
that's probably what I do. It'll like again, it depends on what job I get and how flexible they are with.
For sure. I also think because we all wanted to do that like hiking day, so you could come early and we could do like a hiking day the day before the con or something like that, and then
it depends.
Obviously, this is way too early to plan. I'm just saying like that is a thing we could keep in mind.
Yeah, it was. So I have so when is Worldcon? Worldcon is August. It's like the third weekend of August.
No, it's the second. It's like August 11th to 14th or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. 17th. Middle of August.
Yeah, 13th to 17th is Worldcon, and then in the middle of Worldcon on like the 16th, I have a cousin who has a wedding. So that is happening. So I have to go to Michigan for that. And I say like John, I'm not saying like I have to, but like it'll be fun.
Have either of you been to Seattle before?
Yeah,
I've been to Seattle. Yeah.
I have not, and I've always wanted to go there. There's a movie, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which is a very funny movie, and then like Anna Kendrick is in it, and then the one woman's getting married. She's like, I've done all these things that I've never even done, and I'm getting married. Like I've never even been to Seattle, and then and then Anna Kendrick's like, you've never been to Seattle? Oh my God, you're gonna fucking love Seattle. And I just always think of that, and I'm like, I want to go to Seattle.
I think you will love Seattle. It's a great city.
Yeah. I agree with Anita. Your cousin is more important than Bookish Nerds. How dare?
Yeah, come on.
I'm sorry, but like I need to like go to family weddings and actually
where's
try
your
to
priorities?
With my family. I'm sorry. Though to be fair, so at my cousin's wedding, there was a betting pool going on about whether or not I would bring a book to the wedding.
And did you?
I did not. No,
and if you're coming from Worldcon, guaranteed you're bringing books.
True.
For my wedding, one of my nephews didn't come. And he told his girlfriend, he was just like, I'm tired of weddings. That was his reason for not coming. I was like, bro, I didn't know that was an excuse you could make. Like nobody ever told me that was a reason to not go to a wedding.
That's hilarious.
So how far are you guys in the book?
Done.
We finished.
Oh my God.
Where are you?
I should be at page by the end of the night. I should be at page 800.
You're checking along. You're checking along.
Yeah.
You're gonna start getting to a point where you gotta finish. I did page like 750 to the end of the book in just one marathon, and that was hard.
Oh my good Lord. No, I can't.
My brain was exploding.
I don't have that kind of time.
But I was like you at the con where like I went and got the book and I was like, I'm gonna read this until 4 a.m. And then I read 2 sentences and my eyes started burning and I was like, you're gonna power through this. And then I read a couple chapters and I was like, I gotta go to bed. And that's the only time I even tried to read it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that happened basically every night for me. Is like I read like a chapter or 2 and then I was like, nope, done.
You guys both did more than me because I would go up and look at it like by the bed and go, I should at least get the prologue.
No. It also helped that we read the sample chapters, so I was already on cliffhangers. Like I was already like, I need to know what happens past these cliffhangers.
You're already like 300 pages in.
See, I hadn't read the.
And I had Jake being a machine, just being like he just would skip breakfast, wouldn't wake up, and then we'd see him at the con, and he'd be like, "I read 400 pages last night," and I was like, "What he got?" Like,
no, bro. I'm really digging it. Like, I'm really liking it. Where did you guys end up? Like, if you finished?
Oh, love it.
It's my new favorite one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's possible I come back down and I put Words of Radiance over it, but it's for sure like top 2 of them for me. Like. I really like a lot of the end stuff.
Yeah. The ending really nailed it. Like there were definitely like I had worries going into it, and not all of those worries like were assuaged completely, except for the fact that like once he hit the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's coming. Like you know that's coming. So,
but he did it really, really well here.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've got there yet, but I really like a lot of the philosophical conversations going. It's like man, you know, like he really he swung for the fences for a
Yeah.
lot of this, you know,
Mhm.
like he didn't just wrap it up with characters and stuff. Like as an artist, he had stuff to say, and
I think
he
it's a
really
very
went for it.
bold book.
Yeah, I
I
would
think
totally agree with that.
like especially where everything leaves off. I would have never. There's a couple fan theories that are like close to correct, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff that happens, I just don't. I never saw anybody suggest. Like I never like it's just like.
Yeah.
And now what the book does really well that I wasn't expecting it to do well is make me interested in every other Cosmere book. Because
That's
so we know
coming. You mean
yeah,
that's coming up?
So
Yeah.
we know who the flashback characters are for the next 5, and I won't say them just in case people don't want to know them, but we do know who they are. And it's
Oh,
not like I
don't know who they
didn't.
are.
It's not like I didn't want to know anything about those people, but I think the way he leaves each one of those 5 characters is interesting to me. Like now I want to know more about each of them.
Okay.
And then also the way that the rest of the Cosmere is going to be going is now more interesting. Like I had no interest in an Elantris sequel, and now I'm like, Elantris sequel might cook though, you know. So
I liked Elantris. I was one of the few.
I did too. Like it's not like I didn't like it. I'm just saying like if I was to choose between Stormlight 6 and Elantris 2, I'm like, it's a very easy decision.
Yeah, you got me there. You know, but I mean, I thought, I mean, it's made me question. You question what exactly is a hero's journey and character arc, because it's not what I was expecting, or these ideas of just my free will of what I think my morality is based against the dogma of the faith or honor of the group that I'm trying to be a part of. Like, where does that fall? And why is art, and why is it made, and why is it important? Like, there's a lot of things in there. Just like, did not have to take the time for that. Pretty cool you did, but you know.
There's a lot of really good stuff about music, and especially music in relation to therapy that I really, really loved in that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of interesting takes on therapy, and you know, so I don't know. There's a lot going on that I wasn't looking forward to. Like, that's not what I was looking forward to. But still, in all, I thought he really swung for the fences and tried to get so much of who he is as an artist in there, as well as wrapping up a story. I'm kind of bowled over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you haven't even gotten to the crazy shit yet, man. Just if you think that already, buckle up, Jimbo. Like, Jesus Christ. There's some moments at the end, like we're gonna have to talk about. I very specifically think you're gonna have a lot to say about one particular moment. So
okay, can't wait.
Yeah. I'm also excited to hear you read Sunlit Man afterwards, just because there's few people that I know that are doing that I want to hear their perspective, because I firmly, even before Wind and Truth came out, I was like, I think Sunlit Man is going to be better after Wind and Truth.
Well, somebody hit me up in comments today, like, "Oh man, you're so smart to read it after. I want to read it again."
Yeah, I do want to read it again now that I've read it. So the thing is I think either way is perfectly fine. You're just getting Wind and Truth is so clearly playing with the I think Sanderson's intention is for you to read it first, because there's things in Wind and Truth that are for sure. It's almost like winking at people that have read Sunlit Man. It's like, and it's very particularly trying to build attention, playing with what the reader doesn't know, having read Sunlit Man. But it also does that in a way where the tension of the overarching fate of that character, like, I just don't want to say anything more specific, is still up in the air for people who haven't read Sunlit Man. So then you just go into it fresh. So then when you read Sunlit Man, now you have all that back context. So either way is totally fine. It's just how you're getting the information.
Yeah, it just worked out for me. I just couldn't squeeze it in. Like, I just couldn't. Yeah. It's the one out of all of them I couldn't squeeze in. So it's going to have to come after.
I bought the Sunlit Man and the Yumi special editions at Dragonsteel, and I just love those books so much. They're just so good.
Oh, they're gorgeous, aren't they? I mean,
couldn't pass up the free shipping on them finally, so I was like, gotta grab them.
Yeah, I got too much. I got versions of like Legion as well, because I really like the Legion books, and I was managed to get copies of those. Of course, getting the shirts and everything like that.
I got my Bondsmith shirt. That's the one thing I got from the Dragonsteel.
I have a Bondsmith shirt too, and then a Lightweaver. It's funny, when I got my lanyard, I chose Bondsmith because I like Bondsmiths the most. And then people be like, "Oh, you're a Bondsmith." I'm like, "Actually, I'm a Lightweaver," but I'm not going to pass up the opportunity for Bondsmith merch.
Gallon of merch.
Yeah, dude, Dalinar's my guy, man. That's
Yeah,
true.
me too.
He's my main guy. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question.
Did you see? Did Sanderson say anything about it?
No, I don't think he even. I don't think he noticed. He was a man on a mission. Like that line was. I don't know how many people were in that line.
It's a lot. It's actually an insane. Like it's an entire room. It's like imagine you're in high school gym and you're gonna play dodgeball, but then instead of that, every single person in there just does a whole line all the way across the gym and then does a second line in the middle. And that's people lining up to meet Sanderson. And he just goes around and meets everybody. I'm like, man, that guy's speeding.
And that was just the lightning signing.
Yeah.
He moves really fast. He noticed several cosplay near me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same.
There was a lot of cosplay. I didn't expect as much cosplay as
there was so much. I swear,
a lot of really good cosplay.
I mean, good cosplay. Yeah, really good.
Another like tidbit for the people who weren't there at the spoiler Q&A, there was a guy dressed as Pattern. So he had this big like thing on his face he couldn't see. And Sanderson was like, "Are you going to the ball?" And the guy's like, "No." And he pulls out these big Willy Wonka tickets and he's like, "Do you want to?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I went to my team and I was like, can you get me some big like Willy Wonka style tickets?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're Brandon. You can do what you want."
You can do it.
So they gave him some like Willy Wonka tickets for the ball. And then he was like, "I think if this guy is walking around blind all day, he deserves to be able to go to the ball." So I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. The other thing talking about, oh, hey, what's up, Mike? Dang.
What's up?
This is, I feel so bad because I know Mike's kids were there and I didn't see them at all.
Oh.
Yeah, they were in cosplay and everything at some point.
It is really difficult trying to remember off of a picture. Because we haven't met them. So I was like, I did look at the picture. I was like, oh, I'll try and keep this in mind. But there's so many people there.
Oh, and it's a smaller convention, but still.
Yeah, it's still huge.
Yeah, it is big. Like in terms of, it's actually like, it needed more space. Like I don't feel crowded at any point, but there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did either of you try out any like the board games or the RPG stuff?
Mm-mm.
I did not try out any of the board games. Actually, I was saying at some point that like if there had been an extra day to Dragonsteel, I would have wanted to like gather us all to play some board games or something because that would have been a lot of fun. But there's just 3 days. Everybody just has so many things to do. Like I feel like you need that 4th day to really just like have 2 hours to play a board game or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, we made commitments to do a couple interviews with people while we were, that like took us away for a bit, and it's like
you missed Mistborn Santa. That's insane.
I really was upset that I missed Mistborn Santa, especially after I saw the pictures.
Yeah, it was great. I think so Jake, Ben, Dylan, and I got to do the Carsmere RPG.
Oh yeah, I never heard about that.
So much fun. Like our DM and everything was so great. Like it was very much like it was 4 hours, but it was 4 hours at like a breakneck pace. So we were in the middle of a battle at during Words of Radiance at the very end. If you know, you know. But it was so fun. Like we got together and they gave us random character sheets and we had like different tasks that we could do. Like there's this one section where we could do something that was more like covert. We could do something that was just straight up fighting, or we could try to do the covert thing, but actually like, not do it covertly. And it was great. Like, honestly, I'm really excited for the Cosmere RPG to come out so we can play some of this stuff. I don't know what specifically just to say. I think the way that it works sometimes for natural 20s and 1s and stuff, and sometimes at the DM's discretion, you can have an opportunity die where you can kind of like change how things happen, and you can have a complication or an opportunity. And I think I really like that mechanic. And then advantages and disadvantages actually stack. If anybody knows that from 5th edition, like that's another really good. I think that's a valuable addition to what they changed it, but it's a lot like 5th edition, and it works out really great. Yeah, I really like this thing. I'm definitely gonna like try to run it with some of my friends when I have a chance, and then like if we can like bring it to like WorldCon.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it sounds interesting to me, but I just know I would never play it. Like it's just, so I just have so much stuff. I'm just like, oh, I'm glad it exists. Like I'm so pumped that he was able to make this a thing. But I just, maybe one day I'll be around enough of you with enough time that we can all play it.
Yeah. Oh, and the The deck building game. I have played this like 6 or 7 times since then, and this is also really fun.
Really?
I played it with my brother when I was after we were done hiking, and then I played it with Dylan this last weekend with him and his brother, and we had a lot of fun. I really like just like the deck building elements of it are within the game, right? It's not like Magic the Gathering or Vampire Rivals, which I have over here, where like you build the decks outside of the game and have to test them when you come into it. It's like it's all encapsulated within the game where you're building your deck by buying things from the market and stuff like that. And for that, that type of mechanic is something a lot better for me, because deck building like Magic the Gathering is not my strong suit. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of just random stuff from the books, and of course some Easter eggs. And like for people, so my brother Jake has not like read Mistborn at all, and it was still like really easy for him to pick up.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. That's a really good sign of the playability of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and and it can be really quick too. So like it's very flexible. It's great.
Didn't Jake say he was going to come to this thing? Where the hell is he? Is he
Jake?
napping? Is he rereading Wind and Truth?
Yeah.
I think he said
through.
like an hour ago he got off work, so who knows how long.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I'm actually gonna have to go. I'm extremely hungry. I got off work and then came right to this, but it was great talking with you guys.
Yeah,
and I think just break up that cousin. Like we need you at Worldcon.
I'll probably, if I can get it, like I think one of the jobs that has the most flexible vacation. One of the issues is like busy season starts at like end of July. So I might be able to get a few days off, and I'll try to see if I can swing like something crazy, but we will see. We will see.
All right.
We'll all see
you
guys later.
All right.
See you, Kyle.
See you, Kyle. Cool. All right, Mr. Pete. I got to head out too. I got some family waiting downstairs. I just wanted to check in and say hey to everybody. Yeah. If Jake shows up, tell him I said hey.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to probably wrap it up. So,
okay,
see you, John.
Man. See you soon, buddy.
See ya. Bye. Well, do I have anything else that I want to talk about? Well, I'm alone. Let's talk about hiking. So one of the other things that I did after the con, I hung out with my brother Jake, which was a lot of fun because it was recently discovered that he existed, and that's a whole nother story. And so I was hanging out with him, and we went hiking. So there in Utah, there are some beautiful hiking spots. The one that we particularly went to was Angel's Landing. Was one of the two. That one we actually hiked up to, and then the other hiking spot that we went to but really didn't hike into was I think it's Bryce's Canyon as the national park. Let me see if I have anything up. Yeah, so Mike, we didn't actually go hiking down into the canyon, but we got some pictures from there. Cool. There we go. So that's like one of the first ones. Like so this is at 8,100 feet. It is above sea level, and honestly, the air felt super thin for me, and it was gorgeous. What else we got? Let me just go through some of these photos. That is from Angel's Landing. They're not actually in any particular like order, but this is on the way up to Angel's Landing, and you can see how small the road is. And I don't think I've actually done a hike up this far before, and it was beautiful, and also just unreal. Just looking down and looking straight down, I was laughing a lot because sometimes that's how I won't say cope, but that's just how I react to some of this stuff. Yeah. So this is my brother was joking. This is like a Tinder profile picture to show that I'm adventurous and all that other jazz. But like this is at the top of Angel's Landing, and you can see for just miles. And we were on the way home, and we went to just some random place, and the waitress was like, "Did you know?" So the top of the Grand Canyon is at the same elevation as the bottom of Angel's Landing, and the top of Angel's Landing is at like the bottom of Bryce Canyon. And then Bryce Canyon goes up to 8,100. So this is like, I was surprised on how the air didn't like kill me at this level, right? Because the air is just so much thinner when we're going up to Utah, which is like, I think Salt Lake City is, I don't remember what it was, like 3,200. And the top of this is like 50 some, like 5,000, somewhere in the 5,000s. And then Bryce Canyon was 8,100. I remember that. More Angels Landing views. I didn't take very good pictures. I think I got some of the good ones from Jake. That's more Bryce Canyon. Like you can see so freaking far, and it's just so beautiful. Like getting up there was, I mean, we didn't really hike that far, but there was actually like snow and stuff up this high. More photos of me just chilling. This was another Angels Landing photo that I really liked. Let me actually like just move this over for me. I'd survive in Denver. What are you talking about? I like 8,100 is higher than Denver, I thought. Yeah. Yeah, of course we are. Yeah. We bonded a lot over that trip, and that was kind of like the point of the trip, was a little bit more bonding with him. And then eventually I can bond with the nieces and nephews, who I actually got to see one of my nieces play basketball for the first time this season. That was great. She face checked somebody else, and it was cool. And where's the picture? There's the picture. Badoom. Oh, also the other funny thing about the Angels Landing is we got up at the top and there were chipmunks everywhere. There was at one point there was like a swarm of like 8 chipmunks around us when we were eating, and it was so funny. There were just so many. Alan's thumb pictures. Do I have my thumb in them? I don't know where this picture is from. This was another random Red Rock picture. This was on the hike up to Angels Landing, which had some really steep switchbacks. That was kind of like the hard part of all. But what else we got? And then we have Hob again. Oh my gosh, we love the Hob photos. Let me see if I can find some other photos that I have. I know I have. Oh, shadows are my thumbs. Oh, whoopsies. So another thing that happened. So we were talking about the lightning signings and the traditional signings. So the other famous author photo I got. So Dylan drew a I will actually get that sent to you tomorrow, because I actually have time tomorrow, I think. Because like the words, the mail carrier place, USPS, they actually close like a half hour or so after I get off work. So if I can get off work early enough, I can get to it. But going back to this picture with Brandon was great. So great story around this. With the traditional signings for Brandon Sanderson, Dylan, the guy in the picture, is the one who got it. And we didn't know there was whatever, like a +1 or whatever. So I was just walking off into the convention hall, just chilling while he was in line for it. And then he calls me. He's like, dude, you know they have +1? And I'm like, I just book it over there just to make it there in time. So the traditional signings, you have 4 books you can sign. 1 can be personalized, and then you get to ask a question. And you get a picture, right? And the thing that Dylan asked him, he was like, hey, as a musician, I'm curious because Dylan is a musician. He's in a band called Vessel Theory. Look it up on like Spotify and stuff. They're great. As a musician, what album or what book would you choose or series would you choose for a concept album? Like we're talking like a modern, like Imagine Dragons or 21 Pilots concept album. And Sanderson eventually ended up saying, hey, yeah, I'd probably do Stormlight. Because that just has like a wide variety of people for a wide variety of songs you could toss in there. And then as we are like walking away, right? I didn't say anything because it was all Dylan's thing. But Sanderson speaks up. He's like, hey, so if you're a musician, can we find you on like social medias? And funny thing, our other friend, Parrish, he had helped like make business cards for Dylan's band, like literally right before this con. So Dylan just whips out one of these business cards. He's like, here you go, since you asked. It was great because there's actually a song in there based on The Girl Who Looked Up. I think it's called Let Me Tell You a Story. Or no, that's the line. I feel bad that I don't actually remember what the name of the song is. I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm a disappointment. But it's a good song. That's probably right now. That's one of my favorite ones of his. But yeah, that was a lot of fun meeting Brandon. What other pictures do we have here? Oh, we have breakfast pictures. We have Ben with Fonda Lee. If I can actually get to the point. So Ben met Fonda Lee. That's Fonda Lee. I met her like twice. I got the Grimoire and Untethered Sky signed by her, and that was great. Brandon, hey, that's one of the days we went to breakfast. There's a nice little spot in the mall, and then this is the hotel breakfast with me with a very blurry face. I couldn't find a better like picture, but they had like scones that were like super huge, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So this entire con was just so much fun. And I definitely will be trying to go to other cons and, you know, probably Dragonsteel again with guys. Oh, gosh. The other thing that randomly happened, I didn't expect to happen. So we were in line at the ball, and some people randomly walked by us, and some of you recognize this and some of you won't, which is fine. And the two people from Nerdforge walked by randomly. For those of you who don't know, there's this YouTube channel that does a lot of just crafty things where they're just like, hey, we're going to bind all 14 books of Wheel of Time together. Hey, I'm going to turn this bedroom into this Dark Academia gaming room or whatever. Just random stuff. And they were actually like in the middle, like probably before this, I think. They released a video where they made giant editions of the Stormlight Archive, which was really cool. And yeah, that was super cool to meet them randomly right before the ball. So that was fun because they're huge Stormlight fans. And of course, I mean, their video kind of talks about it a little bit. But definitely check them out at Nerdforge. I'll see if I can put a link below or whatever. But yeah, they're cool. And I had a lot of fun times, and I want to see more of you guys there too. Like, I think this is such a great like opportunity to meet people, and it's so fun. And I love just making friends in like confirming those friendships, I guess you could say, of just like making friends online and then meeting them in real life is really cool. Hello, Kev, you're catching the end. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I think I've talked my heart out. Yeah, definitely. If you have the opportunity, go to conventions. If you have the money, go to conventions. They're so much fun. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Kev. Blame your gym. It's all the gym's fault, I guess. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for letting us nerd out. Make sure to get some rest because that's super important.